QRadar can deliver value shortly after it's installed because it auto-discover the logs that you send to it. If there is a DSM for it, it will recognize it as such and begins to work on it. It can discover servers, network servers, and there's a separate video that goes and explains that. About the only thing that QRadar cannot do on its own is to detect your network hierarchy, to know what's local to you. What is your DMC? What are the ranges of addresses that define your DMC, your mail servers, different type of components. And why that is important, just to give you an idea, if we go under offenses and click on rules to display all the rules, and if we search in it for the word network, we're going to find that a great deal of those rules are network related. As we see, there's very many of them. So picking up anyone randomly here, for example, this one, DMC host port scan. Well, you need to define in a building block that is a network definition. We had a separate video on the host definition, which is also related to this, but this is network definition, DMC addresses. We're going to show you how you do that on the admin tab. But also, many rules in QRadar automatically get the context of whether this is incoming, whether it's remote to local, or outgoing, or local to local. It has all that context, and where does it derives that information is from the network hierarchy. So you go into the admin tab and click on network hierarchy, and it's in here where you specify, for example, what's the CEDA ranges of your DMC, of your proxy servers, all these the building blocks that we will use on the rule. The QRadar, and many rules are, as you saw, come by default in QRadar. It needs to know which are these entities, because otherwise some rules will not fire, and the rules that say and it's not a proxy server is going to fire as a false positive because you haven't defined such. So you need to actually go here and specify the addresses of your network. This is also a place where you can make your rule far more specific. You, for example, can segment your network to reflect your different geographies that your company may operate with, or business group. You have a marketing network, the sales network, etc. So in order to have all the network definitions correct on the DMC, you can actually see which of them you need to have in here. If you go into offenses, building blocks, and then put network definition, similar to what we did in the video for host definitions. These are the entities that QRadar has rules that will be firing based upon whether the particular element belongs to any one of these networks. For those who have very complex networks and networks that change often, and these might be too much of a work to keep maintaining, I have not tried, but I understand that you can get an info blocks, that's a third-party product, an info block export, and have that being processed into QRadar's network hierarchy. And there's also a DSM for info blocks that probably alerts you when changes on the network are detected. So in short, once you have your network definitions and your host definition, as we showed in the other video with server discovery, that's a lot easier because the QRadar detects those servers for you. Then you have the rules that will fire accordingly into QRadar, and you prevent false positive from rules that have the and not condition. For example, if you have a rule that says and is not a darknet address, and you haven't specified what a darknet address is, then you're going to get a false positive there. So Well, in the topic of network hierarchy, there's one more place in QRadar that you can specifically, I mean, by default in QRadar, anything that is not in the network hierarchy is not local and is external. But there is a place where you can actually define remote networks in QRadar. It's actually here on remote networks. And some of these definitions, for example, this Bogun, which is basically networks that should not, that are kind of a honeypot. Nobody should be actually going there. These were actually defined by one of the packages that I installed. So expect also that some of these definitions may come as a content packed from the App Exchange. So again, I hope this shows you how to put a little bit of effort into getting your network hierarchy right, and QRadar will pay you back by detecting many things that you were not even looking for and avoiding false positives by assuming things that you haven't told it about it.